Ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to some Hold My Beer. We have two replays for you today with big damage. First up, we have my favorite tank in the game, the Leopard one, and we're watching Thomas from the Pink Clan, and it's I love this tank. I've always loved this tank. Ever since I played this tank, it's been my favorite, and that was years ago, and even to this day it is still my favorite tank in the game. So when Wargaming buffed this tank, they only slightly buffed it, the reload, but they buffed it so it was the highest DPM medium tank in the game. So any buff to this tank for me is absolutely welcome, even when it doesn't need it. If it's got a buff, I'm happy, because I love playing this tank and it's just a fun tank to play. So Thomas, I love he's relocating there. Went to go the left side, realised that his team wasn't going that way, so he managed to use the mobility of the tank just to get around and go with his team pretty much. And he's just flanking around the whole map. Now the enemy team have started to be spotted. You've got a heavy in the middle and you've got a light tank towards the spawn area. So if he would have gone left, I think he would have been absolutely torn apart. So relocating was an absolute must. Now he does actually get very lucky this game, very lucky, because straight up there is the E100. Now the E100, he's not even AFK. I don't know what he's actually doing. He's moving his turret. You can see him moving his turret. I think he just wants to stay there. Like, okay, that's a bit of free damage for our guy Thomas, and of course with it being one of the highest alpha, not the highest alpha, but it has the more hit points. Sorry, I spit it out. So he's now just pretty much got 2,000 damage for absolutely free. Doesn't manage to quite get the kill. Someone stole some damage, how dare they? But next up, he's moving on to the AMX-50B, who is going to try and tear this grill apart, and that's great for our guy Thomas here, because he's not going to focus him. The AMX was not going to focus him. Now he is on a reload, so he can't really do anything at this point, and because of the DPM of the Leopard one, he's just able to completely farm him. So already 3,000 damage done. Now the only thing with the Leopard, even though you're full hit points, don't take that for granted, because your hit points can just completely vanish. One shot from a tank destroyer and yeah, your hit points are gone. One shot from the VK72, yeah, your hit points are gone. So now it's a 3 versus 5 situation. The E100 is there, and he's now taking the attention of pretty much everybody on the red team. So that gives Thomas some time to get around and flank these guys. Of course, he needs to go for the most dangerous targets. The object there, the T100 there, is a one shot. The Leopard here as well. They're all dangerous targets. The Leopard, the Foch, every single one of these on the enemy team are actually dangerous targets. Now that was a beautiful HE there. Brings him down to a one shot thanks to that HE. So he doesn't even lose any hit points there. He loses some because of the RAM, but you know, it was definitely worth losing that few hit points to not get shot from that Leopard. But he now finds himself in a 1 versus 3 situation. You can see one of them, the Foch, you've got the medium, and you've still got a full hit point VK72, and there's 3.5 minutes left on the clock. He's on 4k damage already, and he's on 3 kills. So for him to pull this off, he's going to have to pick up 6 kills, a Kolobanov, and a monster amount of damage. As I've said, the Leopard one is a fantastic tank. It's got mobility, but it just doesn't have the armor. You're not really going to bounce unless you get lucky. You're really not going to bounce anything. But yeah, watch this space. So of course the object is probably he's one of the most dangerous targets on the enemy team. They're all dangerous, but he really needs to clear that object 140, because he's got the DPM, he's got the speed, and he really needs to clear him, simple as, because he's going to chase him. At least with the Foch is still a quick tank. At least with the Foch and the VK, they're not as quick, and they don't have the DPM that the object 140 has got. So he is going to almost take a shot, but he does get a lucky bounce from the Object 140, and again takes him out without even losing again any hit points. And can he take out the Foch without losing even more hit points? He's literally only taken a little bit of ram damage and a one shot. Now he is going to push forward, unfortunately does bounce, but he has to push forward there. He's got no choice to push forward. And again, not quite sure what the Foch is doing. Well, I know what the Foch is doing. He's trying to get out of the way, but unfortunately for the Foch, the reload of the Leopard 1 is really, really good. So 5 kills now, 5.5k damage, and there is still 2,600 hit points to try and chew through with the VK and his armor. It's not going to be easy, and with just less than 2 minutes left on the clock, time is running out for our guy Thomas in the Leopard 1. He needs to try and just he needs to maybe bait him, so at least he can go out. He can shoot him twice, maybe even 3 times if he's lucky, before the VK-72 has reloaded. Now the VK, if he's smart, he can actually clear the Leopard with one shot. Just one HE into the side, that's all it's going to take. But nope, he misses his shot, and now that gives Thomas some time to get around him. With just over a minute left on the clock, he's now around him, and he's farming up just a little bit more damage. And look at that beautiful high roll, 438 damage. That now brings his damage total up to 7,200. Now he does get shot. He's now a one shot, but with 1 minute left on the clock, he's going to use this time. He needs to get around him, but the VK is quite close to this rock here. Well played for the VK at this point, because he's not letting the Leopard get around him, and he's not making it easy for the Leopard. But with 8,000 damage done now, 8,000 damage, 42 seconds left on the clock. It's the 1 versus 1. Both are one shots. Who's going to get the shot first, and who's going to make it count? Something needs to happen. Something needs to happen. Of course, the VK doesn't have to do anything. He could just sit there and wait for the Leopard to make the mistake, because the Leopard is going to want the win because he's got the damage. Now the VK is pushing up with 20 seconds left on the clock. Is he going to wait? Is he going to wait? They both bounce. 640 bounce. How lucky can you get? And then with 7 seconds left on the clock, Thomas takes the win. How lucky. 950 block damage there in the Leopard 1. 8,100 damage, 279,000 credits earned, and almost 2,000 base XP. And the VK did actually a pretty good job, and he's a really good player. So just unfortunate with that bounce there. But well played, Thomas, and thank you, Toby, for sending me that in. Now, next up, we have, I think this is unusual, and I think I can actually put this into a World of Dummies episode, because I'm not quite sure what happens. I haven't seen it all. I've seen the majority of it, and I'm not quite sure. I missed the part where something really weird happens, and it has something to do with the enemy platoon. So of course, the enemy platoon, there is a TOG in a platoon with an AMX ELC, so they are fail tuning, but of course I don't mind fail tuning. I know there's people out there, like people like Martin Dogger, that wants to get rid of fail tuning, but honestly I don't mind it, because if there's a foul tune on the enemy team, there's going to be a foul tune on your team. But I know people abuse this, like really good players do abuse this, because it doesn't matter if a really good player's in tier 6 or tier 5, they're still, so if you're playing in a tier 7 game, it doesn't matter if the fail tune is sort of a tier below, but the enemy team most likely is not going to be good players, and that's why good players usually abuse the fail tuning system. But honestly, you don't see it too often, and I really don't see the problem with fail tuning. So we've got the Lycan here. Now, I don't even think I've ever really shown the Lycan on a high damage game. On a hold my beer, we've got a Lycan. Now the Lycan is still a very, very good tank. It's not too bad at certain things, and it doesn't have, I can't even remember what it is. Is it that the crew can't get damaged or something like that, which is kind of super OP if you think of it, like your crew can't get damaged. Of course your modules can, but I think like your crew, your driver, etc., they can't get damaged in this tank. So I think it looks quite cool as well. The tank looks quite cool. Not the best of tanks, but I think it is solid, and it can do its job. It can do its job, and that is exactly what we're going to see here. So far we haven't even seen the enemy platoon, because that's really who we're looking out for here. Because yeah, I mean, this is half Hold My Beer, half World of Dummies. So far, one tank down to his team. He has managed to farm up 2k damage though, and then there's 2 tanks, and there we go. I am pro. Yeah, where are you then, Mr. Toggy? Where are you? So there's one tank down there. So 2,000 damage, and it's now a 5 versus 6, but there's a lot of tanks around here, but we still can't see the enemy platoon. Where is the enemy platoon? You're going to find out soon enough where this enemy platoon really is. So you can see the M4 Sherman going down. The IS is a one-shot here, so he needs to take care of him. Move, Churchill. So now it is a 4 versus 5. Now 3 tanks is around this area: the Panther, the SU, and the Chaffee. Of course, going for these tanks is an absolute must. You don't want to get shot from the SU 152. Gets a nice shot there into that guy, brings him now down to a 1-shot. So still 4 versus 5. His team, they don't have the most of hit points, but the enemy team doesn't either, except for the 2 players that we still haven't seen. And there goes the SU 152. The KV2 on his way. There goes the Sherman. Loses his hit points very, very quickly. And the Panther and the Chaffee are actually good DPM tanks. And there we go. Report Tog and AMX. Where are these guys? Where are they? At the moment we have no idea where they are, but I think the Churchill is actually AFK as well. So what is going on this game? We have the Churchill that's AFK, and we have the enemy platoon that we haven't seen all game. There is still 3 minutes left on the clock, and he's 3.6k damage. I mean, even if the game was to end here, 3.6k damage is still pretty goddamn good in this tank. It's not often you see high damage games in this tank. The occasional 4k, the occasional 3k, but sort of any higher than that you don't really see. Now the Panther is a one-shot, so of course clearing the Panther is a must, because it's a pretty decent tank, if I'm honest, since it got buffed. And there he goes. Easy draw, says the Tog 2. Easy draw. Yeah, we're going to see about that, sunshine. And already now you know it's they're being trolled. So beautiful HE shot into the rear of that Chaffee. So 4.4k damage now. 5 kills for our guy in the Lycan, and just 2 tanks left alive with 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Where are these 2 guys? Where are they? Now I'm surprised the enemy are not telling them where they are, because we already know that they're trolling. So we already know that they're trolling, but where? And usually the enemy, there we go. I was going to say, usually the enemy tell the team where they are. And there we go. We've just heard it ourselves from the SU-152. So now he's got 2 minutes. 2 minutes is not a long time when you've got a Tog to try and deal with. Is he going to go for the cap, or is he going to go for the damage? Knowing that there's still 2 minutes left on the clock, the enemy, he now knows where the enemy are. Of course, now he is going to go for the damage. 4.4k damage. Of course, he's on 5 kills. He's going to want the kills, and he's going to want the damage. We're in spawn. No idea why these guys are doing what they're doing. I've literally no freaking idea. I don't know why people do this. I really don't know why people do this. Please report the Tog and the AMX. Yes, report these 2 guys. What they're actually trying to do is have a little bit of fun. So what they've done, the Tog is actually blocking the AMX. So people can't actually shoot the AMX because there's a massive Tog in the way. And they've done that on purpose, you know. He's still looking at doing damage. The Tog's still looking at doing damage. So they've done this on purpose. They've literally planned this out and said, like, I'll hide you, and let's see if the enemy can get you. And of course, when you've got tanks coming here and you've got a Tog in front of you, and I'm surprised, I'm not even sure they've just got that. They've literally, I'm not even sure why the AMX isn't actually dying in the water there. But yeah, kind of funny, ha ha ha. and of course we've got a boat here. We've got the TOG that's driving, and the AMX ELC behind, because it's a really thin, really small tank. And I am surprised that it's not drowned, but of course our Lycan, he's not going to give up with 30 seconds left on the clock, and it's only going to take 2 shells to clear. And at this point, 6 kills, 6.4k damage. I was screaming like, KV2, no, don't do this. Don't do this to our guy in the Lycan. Please don't do this. But luckily, with 10 seconds left on the clock, the KV2 backs up and it gives our Lycan the 7 kills. So decent game there for the Lycan, but of course didn't help with the with them 2 trolls. But 6.7k damage, that's still a great amount of damage in a tier 7 game. And even though there was 2 trolls on the enemy team, there was 2 0 damage. Of course, one of them was the TOG. One of them was the KV2, and the Churchill, that was also AFK. But I still wanted to add this because I thought it was funny, and it's it's still Hold My Beer, but with a little bit of Hold My Dummies. So that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it Hold My Dummies because it's a mix between both of them videos. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy. Catch you soon. Bye bye.
With